Welcome back to the channel. EA Sports just dropped a gameplay deep dive. And today we're going to be covering the abilities. We're going to go over an overview, and then later on into the end of the week, or maybe early next week, we're going to go into a deep dive, cover all the abilities that we can see, and we'll give our opinions on what they will be, kind of how they'll affect the gameplay, who they'll affect, and stuff like that. You can see here, here's the a general overview of the abilities that they dropped on their webpage. The first thing you come to when you look at the abilities is just this generic screenshot from the game. So in game, you'll be able to see this and see different stuff. You can see that scroll bar over here on the right hand side is very, very small. So there's a ton of abilities. They say right here that they're introducing 80 abilities. I'm not exactly sure if that's 100% true, because when you look at the video, but when you look at the video, there's 9 rows of 9 columns, which 9 times 9 is 81. So already right there. So I don't know if they're counting similar abilities that are, you know, like if they're blocking abilities that are the same but they're different aspects. Like there's an option one, an inside run and an outside run, like run protector type of thing. I don't know if they're including all those in the same group, but if you count them, it looks like there's more than 81. And then that screenshot, the preview of the abilities on the video isn't all of the one that they talk about. You can see workhorse isn't on there. And then there's a couple other ones like Sure Hands wasn't on there, and then Recoup as well wasn't on there. There's a few other that I'll highlight, but those all were not on there. So I'm not sure if they are being truthful in 80 or if they just generically said 80, but I feel like there are going to be more, but who knows. And there's going to be 4 levels of those. Scroll down here. Oh, it's not on here, but there's 4 levels of those. You have bronze, silver, gold, and then ultimate. So you can see here, Travis Hunter, he's a fan favorite, which is a bronze, but then the gold double dip over here is the double dip is a gold. And then the rest of his, well, his mentals are both silvers, but then the rest of his physicals are all ultimate. So you'll tell ultimate by kind of like a silver highlighted kind of thing. I feel like they could definitely do a better color than that because it looks kind of similar to the silver, just kind of highlighted. Same thing with the gold. It looks kind of like the bronze, but just a little bit more highlighted there. And those are going to be based off the abilities or your attributes for the player. So if the player has 95 composure or whatever, they're going to be able to get, you know, different stuff. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to change those in game for the player, like if you'll be able to develop different ones, or if they're going to be stuck with the physicals and mental abilities that they come in with, and they'll just progress through the bronze, silver, gold, platinum tiers that way. But interesting stuff. I mean, the workhorse one right here that they show is going to be super beneficial. Whenever EA introduces new aspects to a game, it seems like they're always very, very overpowered first off. So I feel like the wear and tear system is going to really wear down your players in dynasty modes and stuff like that. It's going to probably destroy their stamina and stuff, and it's just going to destroy your players. That's the point of it. It's supposed to simulate in real life gaming or in real life play, and players get hurt a lot, especially in college. But maybe a little bit too much for an arcade game, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm hopeful, to say the least. So jumping over here to the video so we can see exactly what we're talking about here with the 81. So we're gonna pause it here. So you can see 9 by 9, and you can see the last row down here in the bottom, barely seen on the screen. And the last one you get to robber. So all the S's and stuff and T's. There's a attribute that's take off or take down or whatever. So those are like 2 that are not highlighted here. So I'm not sure if they're being super honest, but if you count these, it's more than 81. But maybe they're including like the shield, like you have outside shield, option shield, inside shield. So those are basically all the same thing, but they deal with, you know, inside run, outside run, and then option run. So maybe they're including all those into one thing. Same thing with pass pro, press pro. Maybe that's all similar and stuff like that. We'll dive more into what we think each one is and kind of cover what each one is in the next video. We just want to give a quick highlight of this before we get into that deep dive video. So you'll be able to see here kind of in gameplay. So during the gameplay, you'll be able to see that attribute that you see, or the ability, be highlighted when the player is doing it. So he's juking right now, so you'll be able to see that ability at his feet as he makes the juke. And the gameplay animations look super amazing. Look so much better than Madden if you played Madden a time or two, and they just look better. And so you can see here the ball hawk one right here. He takes that, jumps on it, and it's a silver. That might be platinum. See, they need to change the colors because it's kind of hard to tell, but not that I guess it really matters in the end. And then here's another one for the kicker that we just missed, which is clutch kicker, and then downhill. Downhill is going to be really impressive because if you can get your running back out into the open, they're probably going to run all the way to the touchdown. So downhill is another one. And then Quinn Ewers has field general down here at the bottom. You can also see they brought impact players back, so I'm not sure if they'll affect gameplay as well. If they'll have something like, impact player abilities or something like that, that'd be a super cool feature if they could add that. Like if your impact players, if he's a defensive line and gets a sack, then maybe everybody that's in the box gets a +3 to speed or +3 to block shedding or something like that. That'd be a pretty cool feature because they already kind of have the basis for that with the generic abilities and stuff like that. You can see there the lineman ability. So they went really in depth. I'll showcase it a little better. They went really in depth with all players, not just the skill positions. So you can see here number 52 has it's a boxing glove, so I'm assuming it's something like overpowering the defensive lineman, but you can see in the play he kind of pushes the defensive lineman back, so that would make sense. But they really went in depth with not just the skill position players, so a lot of games like we'll just focus specifically on skill positions or the one side of the ball or something, but they went really in depth with even the linemen, the defensive linemen, kickers, punters, and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool. So you can see the lineman pushes that guy back, creates some space for the quarterback. And then Stadium Pulse is another new feature that they've added, which will play an effect to more of the mental state of players. There's a lot of that's going to have to do with composure and stuff like that. It's going to really affect how your players play and how they perform in big games. When you go down to Alabama week 12 and you need the win, is your quarterback a senior that has field general, has the composure, mental abilities that can kind of stave off the crowd noise and stuff like that, or is he a young freshman or sophomore that really doesn't have that experience and kind of is going to throw erratic throws, make not the best plays and stuff like that. So and I'm sure there'll be coaches' abilities. There are coaches' abilities, but I'm sure there'll be abilities that will affect your players as well. So maybe if you're such a good coach, you don't really need your player to be that good at managing, but that in due time we'll see about the coach's abilities. You can see here the play art and stuff like that gets thrown around when you don't have that ability, but you can see that this quarterback does have that ability, and some of the offensive linemen do as well. So I'm sure that'll prevent them from false starting and stuff like that in big games. So that'll be super cool. And I don't think I mentioned, but you can have up to 8 abilities per player, 3 mental and then 5 physical. Again, I'm not sure if those will be able to change throughout their career or if they're kind of stuck with those as they come in, or if if they don't have a spot, will you be able to develop those as a coach? You can see Donovan Edwards here. You can see 3 of his. So another one that wasn't showcased. Actually, I don't think any of these were showcased in the list, but you got safety valve, which is a versus man coverage. So I'm sure there'll be one for zone coverage, and sure catches. So this guy's kind of designed more to be a pass first running back. That'll be kind of how you design your players. I'm sure there'll be kind of 3 buckets. So like quarterbacks, you'll have a pocket passer, a scrambler, then probably like an option focus guy. And what they've mentioned is that if you pick the pass pro guy, like a pocket passer, you'll only be able to really get those specific abilities that are focused on passing in the pocket. You're not really going to be able to branch out and to be like a kind of a hybrid. I'm sure there's a way. Maybe they have like kind of like an anomaly, like in MLB The Show, they have like an anomaly archetype that'll kind of let you be, speed and power and stuff like this. So maybe you'll be able to be really good at passing, but also really good at throwing, and have those abilities be, flip-flops and stuff like that. Another one's a sidestep that was showcased earlier, but takeoff was another one that they did not put in that little scroll of them. So again, I think it's way more than 80, but I don't know why they said 80 if it isn't. So that's interesting to see. You can see Cade Klubnik. He has dot, which showcased step up. Again, was not showcased, which is a moderate improved accuracy when stepping up in the pocket and not under pressure. So that'll be beneficial when you have pretty good linemen that can, kind of hold off the defensive linemen, stuff like that. And then the last one is a sleight of hand, which again wasn't showcased in that list. So again, I'm very interested why they chose the number 80, unless they were kind of grouping those shield ones into one and then some other ones into kind of one group and stuff like that. So this one's a slight increased ability to hold off defenders using play action, which this one's really cool in of itself. So if you use play action on first down, the defenders are going to kind of jump at the run and then be like, oh crap, they're throwing, and then back up. So you're going to get a little bit more time, a little more separation for your wide receivers and stuff of that nature. So Ollie Gordon here is the last player they cover. He has sidestep. You can see he has all ultimates because, I mean, he's one of the best running backs in football, so it makes sense. Balanced, prevents big hits and strip attempts, and then workhorse again is going to probably be the most vital one you have on players if you want to keep them around for the full year without getting injured. And we'll go into our deep dive, but then we'll probably go in and highlight what kind of abilities it is that's going to be better for different players in different situations in another video later on in the summer. So that'll be it. That'll cover all of that. We can jump back over to the web page. But this screen is actually really, really cool. Notice up here on the right you have the money, so I'm sure that's going to be how they make their money. But you can see here, this is kind of the screen you see. It's not the final build, but it's only what, 2 months, a month and a half now, so they're probably pretty close into this. You'll be able to look at their overview ratings. I'm sure the overview will be a pretty cool page. You'll see the overview, ratings, mental, physicals, stuff, all that nature, so it'll kind of highlight this more. And then there's another screenshot I'll put up which is of this, but it kind of highlights exactly what you need to perform to the next level. So it's, I forget which one it is. I think it is clear-headed. I'm not sure. Maybe it's best friend. No, I think it's clear-headed. I don't know, whatever it is you'll see up here. I don't have it in front of me right now, but you'll see it up here, and it'll say, like, it needs 95 for this attribute to get to that next level, which is pretty cool. And one thing they've been very, very open about is that they say here, lastly, it's still possible for a lineman to lose even at platinum tier. So say your player is really good, but the defender just overpowers him, he's still going to be able to lose that fight if the player is better. And I feel like that's what they've been trying to do with this, with the X factor in NFL. Like, those would just completely take over the game. Like, if you had an X factor on a wide receiver, you could throw it to him and he just literally would not drop the ball. Here it is. Here's a screenshot. So you can see on double dip, he has platinum requires 95 deep root, currently at 91. So basically, to get that to platinum, he needs to upgrade his deep root into 95 overall, and then he'll get that platinum. So that'll be a simple progression up, but I'm curious as to how you get more badges. Like, can you, or attributes, can you switch them? Can you upgrade them as a player, or are they kind of stuck when you draft them? But one of the big things they've kind of pushed is that you're not always going to win. It's not a determined outcome like in Madden, like the X factor thing. If you had a wide receiver that was wide open with an X, or not even wide open, kind of covered, double cover, whatever you want to call it, he was going to catch that ball. It's just a predetermined outcome. It is what it is, which kind of makes more sense for Madden. Your superstars are going to take over the game. Everybody's a little bit better. Everybody's on the same level except for those handful of superstars. Whereas college, there's a very, very big difference between the top tier teams and even the mid pack. Not even like the bottom, just the mid pack. So this is what they wanted to do, is kind of showcase that. So your 5 stars are going to have a bunch. 4 stars will have a little bit less, and your 1 star may not have any. They may have 1, they may have none, they may have 2, but they're both bronze or something like that. So it'll be super, super cool. I'm chomping at the bit to get more information, and I'm really excited about the coaching tiers because they said they've redone that completely, and it'll be something completely different from what we're used to. I think there's like 14 different branches or something, and that'll be really cool. So I think the abilities are going to be really vital in this game, really cool, and that's why we're covering these first. We may cover some aspects of the game, but a ton of people are covering all aspects of the game, but I don't think anybody's really done a deep dive and kind of covered that. But I wanted to bridge that, from the generic overview to the deep dive we're about to do in a couple of days. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all in the next one.